up 8 months now. I'm here because of homelessness.
I was living with my parents before that, and my mum thought it was a good idea if I went into supported living, as my mum's not getting any younger, and it would probably be not wise for her to still be looking after somebody who's like over like their mid-20s.
The reasons I become homeless was because of rent arrears. That was through basically not paying my rent on a regular basis when I was working. Also, the family breakdown was with my father. Issues with my father and obviously my mother's partner as well. Also not being, obviously my problems with alcohol and my temper as well, which wasn't good, which led me to upset people and people around me who wanted to help me, but I didn't help myself at the time.
My mum died about a year, September, not last year, the year before, and she died in the house, so I didn't want to stay in the house. I could have probably got tenancy at the house because I was next of kin, but I just couldn't stay in the house anymore, so I sort of went sofa surfing, and then just people got sick of me sleeping on their sofa, so that's why I came home from that.
The only support I had sleeping rough was with the Pet Drop Centre in Exeter, which they did a homeless application with me. I got by really by eating when I could. When I had some of my benefit money, I got by really. I slept most of the day, through the days on a bench in Sidmouth. I drank excessive amounts of alcohol to help me sleep through the day. Yeah. I found Alexandra House through my solicitor in Exeter, also through Carrie at Smart Move, who said that she didn't think that going into a council house from the way I was, it would be better to get some support and get interactive with Ad Action and Exeter, which is the alcohol people, and also I see the depression and anxiety service on a regular basis as well. And basically I got an interview for them, explained obviously my situation, which was not good because I was sleeping homeless. I wasn't, I lost a lot of weight. I was drinking too much, and basically I was accepted in Alexandra House.
I'm Tim Tree, new project worker here at Alexandra House, here to provide tenancy support for 23 residents. Also a main role of mine is to identify other support leads and to signpost them to other agencies so they can get the best support that they need to move on to sort of higher independence if possible, if not to ongoing support in the next accommodation.
What kind of spurred you to get back onto the road instead of just
there was an incident one day, I think, where I woke up. I was pretty sick. I had drunk, 2 or 3 bottles of vodka the night before, I think. I was not very well, and from that day onwards I actually went into Exeter on the bus and I went to see a solicitor. I was probably still drunk. I had little bits of paper with evidence showing that the council were not going to help me. He basically said to me that he can help me. Within 3 hours they had put me in a hotel in Exmouth, through basically saying that they would help me. But I mean, there was obviously strict rules with staying at the Dolphin Hotel in Exmouth. I wasn't allowed to drink any alcohol whatsoever. If I was to be found drunk or smelt of alcohol, they would have kicked me out and I would have been back homeless again.
When somebody applies here, we have a criteria they have to meet, so we do an assessment and a risk assessment. We have an allocations panel, and we have an outside person on the allocations panel. If someone meets the criteria, we will do an interview, and if they pass the interview then it goes to another allocations panel. They will be offered a tenancy here, and the first part of the process would be to do a safety assessment, really, to make sure that that person is safe in their environment. We would then look at their support needs, put a support plan together, and then I've got project workers and star workers, and between them they look at that person's plan and see out of all of them who can provide the best part of the support. So it's not just one person who will support them, it will be the whole team.
When they first come into the project, we do a support plan, it's called, and a safety plan, which identifies any sort of risks to them achieving independence, any other sort of issues they may have. We pick people from domestic violence backgrounds, people with learning difficulties, visually impaired, so looking at an overall support plan, but that is done in agreement with them. So pretty much it's their support plan. They decide what supports they need, set themselves some short-term goals to achieve the independence they need to be looking at move on. And then my main role then is to identify move on accommodation that's appropriate for them, and assist them in any way to achieve getting it.
My name is Yola Pawlikowska. I work as a support time and recovery worker at Alexandra House, and I've worked here for approximately a year. My support is different from the project workers. I do more support which is around activities and sort of finding activities and workshops that sort of match what people need in terms of their support. So whether it is tenancy support or support to help them relax and deal with their stress and depression, or if it's something that is more sort of creative like art or drumming, then my job is to sort of set up workshops that are either led by staff, but a lot of the activities are now actually led by tenants themselves, so which is great because it means that they can share their skills with other residents here.
So if we all just do this. My name's Becky and I live here, but I've also been asked to run the drumming workshops here as I've got a little bit of experience with music. I finished my music degree at Plymouth a few years ago. Before that I was at college, and I also had various lessons while I was in school, mainly clarinet and piano. In the last 5 or 6 years in between school and college and uni, I've recently taken up the banjo. I also went to a lot of djembe drumming classes in previous years, so that's where I got some of the experience with the drumming, and also my music degree helped me to understand what it is to make music. What we've got here is, if you just listen to this, just don't blow for a minute, because then you can just refresh your memories a little bit, so you can actually hear it going off. So we went for this. See, instead of doing the 5,
It's a silent beat.
it's
Okay, should we give it a go then?
Yeah.
Go to Kansas in back.
so we go.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think everybody has got some sort of rhythm in them, even though they might not sort of know it. And also, everybody here has been in different sorts of situations, so they may not have touched or used a drum before, and they may be sort of stuck in their own little, I don't know, bubbles or environments where they sort of stay shut in their rooms because they might not get out much, so they might want to have a little bit of activity to do. And drumming kind of releases a certain amount of stress, because we all have a little bit of hectic sort of lifestyles and things like that. It's really important for everybody to have something to do to sort of stimulate them in a way.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the activities that you run?
Yep, the activities we currently run, we have a women's group that runs once a month, that's sort of turned into more of a women's exercise group, and that runs on a Monday. We have the Home Hub, which is purely a signposting session, which means that if people have an idea that they want to get on with, i.e. they want to go to college, then we look at where the courses are that they want to, what they want to do, and then we signpost them to the relevant agencies. Same with health, same with accommodation. So that's what the Home Hub is. Then we have the Garden Club, which is what it says on the tin, is to sort out the garden here. But the residents are actually doing it so that it can link in with things like the cooking club as well. So we've got, we're growing herbs and spices and vegetables so that it can be used by residents. Wednesdays we have a drumming session, which is run by one of our residents who has a lot of experience in the musical field, and that's African drumming. Again, that's very well attended, mainly because it is actually run by a resident, and we use it as a form of sort of creative expression, but also for relaxation as well. And then the art group again is run by a tenant, is fantastic. It's looking at just very basic sketching and art skills, but then looking at using some of those and putting them onto canvas and painting them up, which is kind of what the stage we're at the moment.
With the watering can, because it's quite smooth, you can use your fingers and it sort of smudge the shade in.
Yeah, I got to that point. Still with a fork.
I'm currently running this art group. We do every Wednesday for a couple of hours. It's quite good turnout, and everyone sort of seems to enjoy it. It helps me a little bit because you get a little bit more confidence, so I can get back into it, things like that.
Do you think it kind of has any real impact on your kind of everyday kind of lifestyle in a way?
Kind of, because I like to do a bit, because I haven't done it in a while, and this is the first time I've done it in about a year drawing because of things that happened. So hopefully this will motivate me to get into it a bit more, so I can sort of do it every day kind of things, and you get back into routine because it's sort of what I enjoy, and hopefully I can do something with that in the future.
With actually running the course, is that kind of helping you with like confidence building?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I don't really have much confidence. It's gained a little bit since moving here. Hopefully this will give me a little more confidence because communicating with like a few people and sort of kind of getting my point across a bit better.
Do you sort of get involved in the activities with the residents?
I have done, yeah. I've done the meditation group and joined in on the drumming group, which has been great. And I did the breakfast club the other day, which was, I enjoyed that as well. So nice for me, icebreaker, because I didn't know many of the residents, just by sight. So it's nice to sort of connect with them and, put my name to the face and, likewise, and start building some sort of working relationships with them.
What's a typical day for you at Alexandra House?
A typical day would be, to get involved in the activities, to attend my meetings with either Ad Action, my depression and anxiety service, or with the staff through my support plan. I try and go and see my girls. I go running 3 times a week. I play five-a-side on a Wednesday night at the sports centre. I also play football. I go to football training on a Tuesday night as well. So yeah, I spend a reasonable amount of time there. I'm involved in most of the activities in the house.
And what sort of work have you been doing to kind of change that image?
We've done a lot of community work where we've invited people in. We've made ourselves quite public actually. We do a lot of group work. We've had like the Few Centre and Mind, we've worked with them and they've come in and they've done sort of, and they did an assertiveness course, personal development. So we made that public to anybody who wanted to come and be part of that. We've got a good relationship now with East Devon District Council, with our neighbours, all of our outside agencies, the mental health team. So it's about keeping those relationships going and letting everybody know actually what we do here now.
How many residents do you have living in Alexandra House at the moment?
It's 23 altogether, and I support 11 of them, so yeah.
And how many can it accommodate?
23 is
23.
the maximum, yeah. And it's all self-contained, they've got their own flats, and it's their accommodation, although it's within a supported environment. I mean, it's their flat, and they've got every right as someone else who's living in their own flat in the community. So it's a start basically for a lot of them. They come from some higher support or straight from home, broken families, that kind of thing. So it's just working with them so they know what is needed to do to sustain a tenancy on their own.
And where do you see yourself in, say, a year's time?
I see myself working full time. I see myself working full time. I see myself having my own place. I'd like to think that I'd have some money saved as well, which I have at the moment, but more money saved. I'd like to I'd like to see a lot more of my girls, to have them to stay as well.
Into the future, I would like to actually go into doing computer maintenance, purely because I've built a few computers myself in the past and sold them, and I've repaired a few. Even now, in my spare, now in the evenings or whatever, I help residents here that have got problems with their computers.
Exit college for 3 years, and then I went to Birmingham University for 2 years. I would like to sort of think about going back to just see how things go.
I just think the open day will be good because we've tried to invite a big variety of people. I think the open day and getting other people to just understand what we do.
I'm quite excited about what's going on here because, rather than just being an accommodation and supporting the residents here, we want to open it up as a community hub. So, have a sort of drop. We do run the hub on a Tuesday now, which is not that well attended because I think it's not that well advertised at the moment. But anyone with any support needs can drop in and we can advise them on who they can go to for their support. We can advise them on certain things. So, and then the groups are being opened up to other projects, homeless projects and support projects. So I kind of see this becoming a community hub if it works its way forward. And my big idea is social enterprise, creating some sort of sustainable income that they can be putting back into their rent charges and stuff, so they can be sort of easing the burden, but working towards it and learning skills as well at the same time.
I think the residents here and the tenants at Alexandra House are a fantastic bunch of people who deserve their stories to be told, because often enough we only ever really see the big pictures of homelessness, and actually it's very relevant to our area in East Devon that we actually make people aware of the homeless issue here. So I'd like to say a big thank you to them.
Yeah.